Hello, this is Bryceton LeFlore with the Tennis Journal podcast, and I'm absolutely honored to interview legendary coach of two former world number one tennis players, Rafael Nadal and Carlos Moya. The coach's name is Jofre Porta, and first of all, welcome, Jofre. It's absolutely amazing that you came on this podcast, and I can't thank you enough for the opportunity to do this with you. And I think this would be a really, really amazing opportunity to share your very unique thoughts with the world, and you have a perspective that I would especially like to share. So, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Welcome, but believe me that it's a pleasure because I like to speak a lot about tennis education. You know that I think is the same thing. And you are here. We share so many things together. It's normal that I'm really, really glad that I can speak with you today about everything that you want.
Yes, and we did speak a little bit previously about this, but I have to say that you were a massive, massive inspiration to me, and an incredible mentor. And I really appreciate the kindness that you showed me when I was at Global. And it's as far as my coaching and my whole entire life, it's paid amazing, amazing dividends and changed me as a person.
We look in different things. Normally, the people when come global found different things than normal. It is one sometimes open mind, sometimes blocked minds. But in your case, I think you open a lot your mind in another ways and make you better because when we open our mind, we increase our capacities, even when we don't use the new information, but we open our mind.
Mm, mm. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. My first question is, I was wondering if um, you did have the incredible opportunity to coach two no, world number one tennis players. Um, I was wondering if you could provide insights on how their early development stages in tennis went. For example, how did what was the beginning steps in the development of Carlos Moya and Rafael Nadal?
When I started with Moya, I was very young and I don't have a lot of knowledge. I thought that I'm really good, but I was not. Sometimes when you don't know, you think you know, and when you know, you understand you don't know. And in the time of Moya, believe me that we grow together. I am in the right place in the right moment, but it's not because I have something special. Only have a lot of passion. We share a lot of things, a lot of punishments, a lot of adventures, and uh, and this one helped a lot. But really, we work together, and I never thought that. Moya will be so good like he was in the end. For that, I'm so grateful to Moya because give me so many opportunities after, before, in the middle, and after. He helped me so much. He and his family. With now was a little different because I was in Barcelona. I come back to Mallorca again. I'm in the right place in the right moment. I'm very lucky man, and we can share. But with Nadal, you can see that we can see that it was very, very, very good. A special, really special guy. And but we don't make nothing really, really, really special. It's we make the work like together. Today I will have a conversation with a mother that say you want to go more far than the project need. One of the things important is don't go faster than the project need. With Nadal, everything goes very, very fast. He beats 5 features. One is 15 years, 5 features in a row. This was is amazing and very fast, but not because we go very fast, because the project go very fast. We follow the project, but try to make more things that is necessary. Sometimes it's a big mistake because you block the projects. You need to take the rhythm, count down, and carry on. And it looks very philosophic, but it's real. It's don't try to go more fast. Like what we do is just make a normal things with the normal families, with the normal kids. Never speak about how good you are. Only speak about the intrinsic motivation. Only thinking about the passion. After that, we'll see what happens. Adapting all the time, depending what happens in every day.
So I guess with these, I mean, but these two players are incredibly successful, but you don't think there is something incredibly unique in their development in their early stages that brought them to this. It's just sort of doing the normal
If
things you would do.
if I was born in Bilbao, I never have two number ones. You understand? I'm very lucky. I think sometimes me too. We want to think that we are more important than we are, but finally depend a lot of the right moment in the good players. You can make a fantastic job. Their coaches make a fantastic job. They never get one top five. If people that is more lucky, we can get two number ones. Yeah, I'm sure they are coaches better than me, and they never success like me. It's only because I'm really lucky. Really, the people say the luck doesn't exist, but believe me, exists because I am a case, of that in the good way.
And I think you did touch a little bit about this, but was there anything that you saw, like, well, I guess with Moya, you just thought he was kind of normal and you couldn't expect the success, but like could you go into more about the person Nadal was when he was younger and he was just developing? Was there, I mean, because you can tell, I mean, there's something really, really incredible about Nadal, his passion, his drive, he just never gives up. Was he like this as a child, or is it sort of just
No, the
something
thing,
he developed?
Nadal have a fantastic advantage because coming from a family, Tony included. Tony only is the boss of the project and control the project. And the family are very smart in this way, in every way, but in this one is special. And they control. No, sometimes for example, the people say the father Nadal is good, is bad in the beginning. He say, you know about him? He said, no, I don't know. He says, you don't know he's good, because sometimes the parents want to be in the middle of the picture. Sometimes you need to be in the corner, And they understand that, and they were fantastic. They had the experience of the uncle of Nadal, Michelangelo, was Barcelona soccer team captain, who's a really, really, really good player. And they have the experience that calm down, not be mad because your player is good. It's one of the things that they make fantastic. And we work that, I think, is we have a dream to be top, and then we work every day. I don't believe a lot in the goals, and medium term and long term. I think a big dream and day by day, And we were like this, and it was fantastic. We have a good team. Tony helped, allow me help in the project. I finally enjoy so much.
So you think it was more so with Nadal, his family support system and like the direction of his family that helped him, be great.
It's a family that understand the ambition, sportive ambition, perfect. You sentence like everything is important, but nothing is so important. You remember the maybe the first Roland Garros that Nadal can go. One friend make a joke and he fall down and he break the wrist and cannot go to the Roland Garros the first time. For another person will be a drama. For the family of Nadal and Nadal, it's bad luck. Next year will be next year. Nothing is so dramatic when they understand count. But with Moya was the same. I think it's a Mallorquin mentality. It's a little like this, They are calm, they are humble, and they understand the moments. I'm not Mallorquin. I'm Catalan. I born in Barcelona, but I love their mentality in this way. They don't rush. They don't support the arrogancy. It is one I think help a lot to the sport and tennis in particular.
And is there could you go into more so why Mallorca is so amazing to develop tennis players? Because I believe Casper Ruud, he's also, I mean, he's from I believe Norway, but he's also in a lot of ways developed in Mallorca too. And the level there that I saw was incredible. Is there something about Mallorca that leads
Mallorca
to...
is not only incredible in tennis. Mallorca, after Catalonia, Catalonia is 7 million people. Mallorca is only 1 million, or Baleares is only 1 million. And Baleares get more Olympics and more medals than the rest of the region of Spain, more than Madrid, that have 6 or 7 million, more than Andalusia, 12 million, is one of the best. And it's not a special place. They have a sportive culture sportive a long time. No. It's just, I think the conditions are like this. They work hard. They have a fantastic kayaks, world champions. They have gymnastics. They have so many things. They are top. The Barca team of females is they have 3 of 11. It's not only tennis. And plus, now there are academies like Nadal Academy that is bringing people around the world to Mallorca. This one help a lot because you can make more tournaments, and we increase our capacity to make things. We need to be careful that don't die because success, no, is the only thing that made me a little worried sometimes, because everything is so good now that we need to be careful that don't dream too much. We need to be realistic, understand the situation, and enjoy the moment, but no make things that can go against ourselves.
Okay. So my next question was let's say you have a good player. So how would you get him to be great? How would you get him to be professional? And how would you how could you approach that, like, step by step? From, let's say, I don't know how you rank a good player, but let's say you are just a player at the beginning of coming to your academy at this level, and then how would this player go to be pro?
I think that they are not one way. Obviously, what we do with Moya and what I do with Nadal is absolutely different. Nothing, no one thing, because Nadal and Moya are absolutely different. Obviously, we need to try to be honest. First, be honest with the project. It's very important. It looks so simple, but be honest with the project is very important. A lot of passion. And then be smart, be logical. One of the things that we need to teach the kids that they are the responsible. I lose you. You listen me?
I'm here. You hear me? Can you hear me?
I cannot see you, right? It's what we need to teach the guys that they are normal person. The education they need to understand is a normal person. Don't make extremely things different, and teach them that they are the responsible of their own project. Sometimes we try to support so much that they think that they start to be too much comfortable. Comfort make idiots, don't make good players. The top players coming for the bad moments, the bad situation, not for the comfort zone. For that, we try to put them in the uncomfortable situation all the time.
Okay, so you're saying, okay, put players in uncomfortable situations, and that's going to inspire their growth, basically.
Yeah, I'm absolutely sure that the comfort zone and the too much facilities doesn't help. We need to be really I tell the kids always the same, is I'm not here for take you off the stones of your way. I will put the stones in your way. I want to make you difficult. Finally, you and me, our character depend 100% about the bad thing happening in our life. The good things, we celebrate the good things, but we learn with the bad things. For that, it's also important to understand that we need to love the problems, because it's what make us better. And when the guys understand that, we change the name, the word problem for challenge, but finally so similar. And we enjoy the problem because really we enjoy the challenge. It's just that, change a little the education of the kids in the beginning, and then be smart and don't really, we can help, but what we can really do is destroy one career more than make a career. For that, we need to be careful and calm down when we take decisions.
Okay. So how about as far as approaching it step by step? How could a player approach it step by step to be successful?
You cannot decide the step by step. It's the project decide the step by step. You cannot tell in the first 2 years. No, it's coming. With Moya was more slow. With Rafa Nadal is very fast, but it's not a step by step. We cannot tell first we work the technical, and then we need to work everything together in the same time. And the education always behind everything, but they are not steps. So I don't believe they are steps. For sure, there are coaches that believe they are steps, and we need to make that, and we need to make that. We don't work like this. We work every day. Obviously, we have a program, a qualification that every day, every year is different because I change my mind. But they are not one system or one method for make players. System exists. I will get not only two. I will get hundreds and hundreds of players.
Okay. So it's more so just like a day by day process, and like continuing to continue the training.
100%. 100%. Make a planification of the tournaments, and the level player make it on to play tournaments that you can compete, and don't try to play that you win too easy. Or finding it, be logical. Be logical, make comfortable the life of your player. Don't make too easy the life of your. After that, work day by day with a lot of effort is the word. More than discipline, effort is better. Plain, you make discipline is very easy. Effort is more difficult. Sometimes you need to give the 300%, sometimes the 70%. And the good players that I have, they are not fantastic. Discipline, Nadal, is effort is crazy. Can give you 300% every time that is necessary. But for eating, for this kind of things, discipline is not so easy for him. But therefore, with Moya happen the same. There are people that very brave. They are. Sport is not a problem for them, but the discipline sometimes, yeah. So for that, when the people speak me, yeah, discipline is good for make a project, for feel comfortable, for take decisions. But finally, what make good players is the effort, is not the discipline.
Okay. That's okay. That's a very interesting perspective. I was also wondering, how could you you did talk about Rafael Nadal's family and how influential they were in his development. So I was wondering, what do you think are steps that parents could take to help their children be amazing tennis players?
Finally, is be a good person, not just for tennis players, for everything. You need to be involved when you need to be involved. You need to give space when you need to give space. Don't protect your child. Be a good father, but not just for tennis, for everything. You protect your child too much, you make a weak person. So you need to make brave persons. Basically, because the neuroscience teach us that the brave people is more happy than the cowards. For that, make people brave. They are more happy and they are more comfortable for take decisions. The people is scared, never take decisions because it's scared. The overprotection make scare people. For that is for me, it's not a tennis player, tennis parent. Is be a good father or a good mother or bad mother or bad father. But finally, is normal, logical. Try to give a space for grow. The sentence of that I always tell, that is Einstein sentence. He say, "I don't teach my students; I prepare the condition where they learn." I think this is the scenario we need to make for our child, like a coach or like a parents. It's for not a big difference, because in the end we need to work together. And we cannot interfere one against the other one, together, yeah, but in the same direction, not different direction, because it's not, we are not efficient, Finally, I think this is the best scenario, but not for tennis players, for persons.
Okay, so it's sort of just like the value system of having good parents is the value system for having excellent tennis players.
It's because the values must be for everything, The final values is everybody speak about values, no? But there are different values. The sport don't give you good values always. There are people that speak about heroes or this kind of players. The tennis don't give them good values. And some ones, yes, it's how you work these values, Obviously, a family with values like honesty, like all these kinds will help a lot. And I think parents need to pass this information to the kids, because finally the influence of the parents to the kids is so high. With the coaches is high, but the parents is like, for this one need to go to work together. Sometimes the coaches see parents like a problem. I try to introduce always the parents in the project, and they need to understand the project. I cannot work against the parents. It will be ridiculous. I need to work against the parents. It's better to stop. Sometimes the parents don't found the place. They want to interfere. They want to. Sometimes it's not necessary.
I want to press you a little bit with all the incredible things that I learned during this experience at Global. I realized that you and the other coaches were very, very harsh on players, and I think I've never seen in an environment where I witnessed coaches that were so harsh. And I actually, I initially internally I sort of disagreed a little bit, but then I found myself doing the same thing with my students that was going on at Global, and I realized the value of it. But I would just like to hear your perspective on that. So why do you think it's valuable to be so harsh on players?
Because tennis is hard. You make a comfortable situation doesn't work. I don't want the people comfortable. Obviously, you are nice, you are too nice, doesn't work. We can be nice later, but you need we need to fight what is necessary for try to make a good practice. The players help, you need to shout less. If the players doesn't help, you need to show more, but you can never surrender. Uh, there are so many people that don't understand why we are so hard. I don't think that we are so hard. It's obviously depend where you're coming. I'm coming for one wall that this one is normal. But I understand that tennis is the people play tennis. A lot of people that play tennis is people that have an easy life and it's difficult for them to understand hard work. But we believe in that. And finally, the results give us the reason. Is people I will not I don't want to tell me is coming one psychologist work with us and tell me I don't understand why you need to be so hard, etc., etc. There are another one that is a tennis coach and psychologist. He tell you what you think because you are a psychologist too. He said, yeah, I study so much, and 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 in the beginning I was in shock. He said, but then I see how the kids of Jofre, the players work, how my players work is not comparable. They work hard, they are intense, they are happy, they're passionate, and my players are lazy and are not involved. Finally, I think it's not important how hard you are. It's this one don't mark the difference for be happy or unhappy. It's how much you are involved in the project of the kids. If for being involved in the project of the kids means that you need to tell when something is wrong, it's our work. Well, our work is push them to the limit. You know, when the big sailors don't get the curriculum in the calm sea. You know, they need the storms. We need to produce the storms because life is too comfortable sometimes, and that we need to make one atmosphere hard. Sometimes it's shouting, sometimes it's the exercises that we do, but we need to fight all the time. We need to get what we need in every single time. After when we go out of the court, we can laugh or whatever, but inside of the court must be hard. It's how we understand the work. It's how we work more than 40 years, no more 46 years.
So it's sort of so is this kind of going back to what you were saying earlier as far as getting players to be uncomfortable? So are you harsh on the players to sort of get them out of their comfort zone?
You cannot be in the comfort zone. Really,
Mm-hmm.
we believe that you cannot be in the comfort zone. In the comfort zone, you don't learn nothing, zero. You are one amoeba. You know, we need to look in uncomfortable situation. We need to go to the limits. You cannot learn in the comfort zone. If we want to learn and go far, we need to be in the limit of our possibilities. One practice is too nice, is not a good practice. The good practice never is too nice. When the practice is perfect, it's not a good practice because we can go more far. It's very, very important for us. Go to the limit. In the limit, there are mistakes. They are part of the mistakes. I tell the players all the time, mistakes is not important if the mistake is because you look in something special. When you make mistakes because you are not concentrated or because you are a stupid day, this is terrible. But mistakes because you looking to play a little faster or a little higher or more touch spin or less touch spin, whatever, you look in something. This one is not a problem. It's just a test that you make all the time for try to increase your capacities. And this one, I think the players, every single player understand that. Sometimes they don't accept that, but the truth is that they understand that is the only way for try to be tennis player. It's not necessarily go like David Ferrer that he pushed so much, he sold himself. Now it's in the end of the career change, but he was extremely. I don't tell maybe. It's not necessary so much. But we need to be hard and we need to push the kids and we don't allow to relax in the practice. I prefer to make short practice intense than a long practice relax.
I see. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting. And I started to sort of develop this similar persona as a lot of the global coaches and a lot of my personal lessons. And it really got me out of my comfort zone because generally I'm a very relaxed person. However, I think that a lot of players need this push. You know what I mean? But I also think that it seems like it's sort of almost finding what each player needs too. So yeah, but this definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone and got me
So
more fired up on the court.
maybe it's possible people push out of comfort zone nicely and relax. Maybe there are people so good that they can do that. Me, no. And my coaches go with me. So, for push the people, I need to be hard with them. But maybe they are one really for sure they will be because they are people amazing. But for me, it's impossible. I need to push the guys. And finally, the human mind don't want to work hard. It's difficult because the human mind is an evolution. They try to survive. Survive is not spend a lot of energy looking comfort zones for save your life. And now you want to be tennis players, you need to change this type of philosophy. For that, for us, it's so important. The guys. Yeah, I make one example. The effort is not one thing that you need to pay for. Try to be tennis player. It's not effort. You must love effort. You need to teach yourself to love effort. When you love the effort is not one effort. It's part of your life. And the people love effort. There's not a sacrifice, and they feel good when they make that. Obviously, this one sometimes normally is not nice because the people is lazy. Our soul is lazy. We need to change that. But we need to teach that. How we can teach that? Speaking, difficult because the young players are not so conscious. It is more unconscious. You need to make the example. You need to show the example. And it's how we understand that. And finally, and you were in global, the intensity of the work is I don't think there are a lot of places the intensity of the work is like our intensity. Obviously, there are more ways for make good players because there are so many players in the world good and different ways. But it's how we understand. Global is not for everybody. You can see that there are people don't adapt, but we cannot change our philosophy. You need to look in the place that you found that you can progress. Be careful because a lot of times when you change, you look in always an easy way. Easy ways never make good players.
Yeah, I see. And I think that kind of relates to overprotection because I was coaching I'm not sure if you're familiar with high school tennis, but I was coaching at a high school tennis team back in the US. About 3 months back, and a lot of players just weren't used to the standard of intensity because they've always sort of been protected and never really pushed to a challenge. So I think it's really important also to inspire the students to have the effort that they need, and that's actually one thing that you taught me.
But you allow me is I don't understand overprotection. Overprotection is you are afraid to swim. Is a contract Michael Phelps for teach you to swim. This is overprotection. It's not go far off the swimming pools. This one is a child abuse, because you don't allow to protect himself. You understand the idea that I think the word we use, I understand what we use this word, what we want to say, but you think a little overprotection is not give up of the problem, is accept the problem and teach them. Overprotection is go too far and try to exaggerate, not like contract Michael Phelps for swim, But overprotection, what you make life hard, you overprotect your child because it's ready for the new situations, new bad situations. You look in an easy way. Finally, is a child abuse because then will be so weak in the new things happen in their life. I think it's very selfish. Overprotect the child. It's so easy, so nice. Everybody love you, whatever. But in the beginning, in the end, my favorite teachers is the hard teachers, not the lovely teachers that I like the people is involved in my project that push me to be better, not the people that say, oh, you're so pretty, you're so cool, no, don't make me that, because that doesn't help me. It's what we try to do. I understand it's hard for one family or even for coaches tell things that they say, I don't want to say that, but it's necessary to say. Because finally what I want to do is better my player, not be more popular with him. I don't want his hack today. I need to teach them today. And there are moments for everything, but when you teach, you need to go far. I believe really that the people don't want to cross this line is selfish. I'm so sorry. I don't want to offend nobody, but I think that push the guys is a generosity. I tell the coaches, because we make a little punishment all the time, you know, that when you make too much balls in the net, or when you make too much mistakes, when you are not concentrated, we punish. No, touch the net, make one lap, whatever. And some coaches, when they arrive in the beginning, they say, it's hard. That say, why is hard? Say, punishment. You understand the punishment like you want to teach. It's a generosity. It's one act of love. When you don't punish one guy, deserve to be punished. Be careful, because it's selfish, because you don't have problems, but you doesn't help to the other guy. Say, really, you are nice when you punish, not when you don't punish. How the nature work? I don't know. You see the video of the polar bear that the babies follow him and go for this way, and the mother take off it for the difficult one. It's teaching. It's not nice. I know it's not nice, but it's necessary. And finally, when you understand that, when you punish or shout or whatever, you think you make something good for your players. It's not for you, it's for your players. And it's not nice. I know it's not nice, but it's not. Sometimes it's necessary to do. Sometimes it's a lot of time for us, you know.
Mm-hmm. You know, you know, actually, one of the number one things that I took from you is variability, and I actually recently read this book. It's called The Talent Code by Stephen Campbell, and it talks about myelin and brain memory, and how doing certain drills inspires brain memory, and then this creates better athletes and better tennis players. And this actually reminded me a lot about variability. Did you read that book by any chance?
I don't read this book, but I understand the concept.
Uh-huh.
I will tell maybe in words that are not the correct ones, you know, because finally everything, but I think you will understand me, or the people can understand me. When we make works, rallies or whatever, or drills, we try to make patterns in our mind that we can conscious and subconsciously way, in both ways, for use these patterns later when you play, because when you play matches or whatever, you cannot think. You play with the subconscious, right? What happens with these patterns is the patterns is too fixed, will not happen in the match, because never happen 2 times the same thing. For example, I can reproduce indoor court, you know, because like this, the sun and the wind doesn't the same opponent in the serve, the more fixed movement that we make in this one. Exactly the same balls, everything the same. They are one component that you cannot control. Is the emotional moment, you know. Never is the same moment. If you don't play in different types, you make only one fix, you will be uncomfortable there, you will be afraid, you will be stressed, whatever. When you play, you work in variability, you increase your capacity of adaptation. You can see Nadal is a perfect example. Nadal can start one tournament with one grip for him and finish with another grip, because he makes so much time variability that he adapt what is necessary for try. There are players that I have this system, I have this plan, I have this technique, is not working, it's finished. No, he will not make that. The good players, they can change the tactic, everything, depending on the moment, even the technique, you know, because they work a lot in variability. And when we fix the exercises too much, we make technically good players, but not efficient when they play matches. We believe a lot in that. There are 2 things different. One is the variability. When you make things different at the normal tennis, for example, you see that we make sometimes one lap around ourselves, but because like this, you lose the perception of the court. You need to increase your concentration for recover the spatial moment. You're a little sick because the internal labyrinth of the ear, you know, so many things happen. This one is variability, because I change the normal condition of tennis. Then there are the variety. That is another thing. If I want to make something not so rare in one moment, because obviously you cannot make all the time like this, we can play forehand cross against forehand cross. If we can make like this, that's all. Or we can make forehand cross against forehand cross, but you will play one flat ball, one top spin like Nadal, and one slice. Yeah, I play normal. The variably don't make the same, because when you make the same, you start to make little, small, micro is comfort zones, and we need to destroy the comfort zones. For that, when we work, because the real life, the real tennis, never is comfort, never is repeating the same situation. The same ball never will happen again. For that, it's so important to adapt the capacity of adaptation, the perfection that normally the work, conditional work without decisions and simple, the conditional work make arrive to the perfection. Perfection for the people make jewelry or arrange watches. The tennis players adaptation. It's not necessary to be perfect. I told one girl that is so perfectionist the other day, said, perfection in tennis is not be perfect, because the people is perfect never will play good tennis. I don't know. I explain what I'm going to say.
Interesting. Perfection is imperfection. So I was wondering, now you did talk about, for instance, in your practices, you would maybe tell the player to do one flat, one spin, one slice, change up the top spin, never allow your players to be comfortable, because it's sort of like tennis is always a situation where you're not comfortable. And that's really, really interesting to me, because I think it's 100% spot on, and it's really about adapting to many, many different shots. But could you go more into detail about how you incorporate variability in your practices? Like, how would that look in a drill? How would that look in your practices? I mean, I've seen firsthand how it works, but I was just wondering if you could give it to the audience.
For example, one example, very simple. You have one guy, the backswing, no? The backswing of the shot is delayed, he's done in time because he have a wrong rhythm for try to play more in front, make the backswing a little earlier. It's difficult to change the rhythm because the rhythm is in our mind very fixed. It's like when you sing one song, you cannot take off the song of your mind, What we can do, break this backswing. How we can break this backswing? Make two backswings, one like a shallow shot, like without ball, and then the real one and two. 1 and 2. Then we make only one, and backswing and 2. You mix one the other, you can go one place. The variability can be in two ways. Forget something specific. For example, one boy or girl play too far with the forehand. You want he play more near of the ball. Play double hand. You play double hand, you will be more near the ball because you cannot stretch the arms. When you play like this, then you play one double hand, one single hand, one double hand, one single hand, then only single hand. You repeat days and days and days and days. That will be easier to change. Finally, we make the patterns that we'll use because the repetitions. We believe that the variability make shorter the time, make less repetition in your life. For the one is faster, in the beginning is slower, but in the end will be faster. So you can make variability just because you want to change something, or just variability for make crazy your player. For example, you can put different cones in middle of the court, you play a match, and when they play in the cone, bad luck. And when you are 30-40, you play in the cone, you lose, you are crazy because I've been playing good, the ball was good, but it's in the cone. You understand what I mean? And it's not real, because it's absolutely not real. But help a lot for accept situation that is not fair, because tennis is not fair, will happen. Like this, you learn to be more comfortable with the unfair situation. No, these kind of things, mental, technical, physical, you can make so many things, and the mind start to understand the adaptation like the way for play tennis. And you can see the players, for example, clay have more variability than hardcore white, because the ball jump different, it's not always jump the same. For that, normally the people come from clay is less frustrated when happens something rare. The people is coming with hardcore that always the bounce is better, it's perfect. When it's wrong, you say, oh my God, clay is rubbish, Yeah, because the capacity of adaptation, but finally will happen so many times. In anything, not just the bounce, so many things that you think can happen one way. Life is chaos, what you think that we have today, this podcast, and In the beginning it doesn't work the Zoom, we need to readapt. We need to adapt this capacity of adaptation. You are calm, I'm calm, because we know the situation, because we work in this kind of chaos all the time. And then we wait, we adjust, and we finish nicely. But if you are, must be perfect. Oh, I'm so sorry, I cannot be. It will be a disaster, Finally, the capacity adaptation is not just for tennis, for everything in life. Because tennis is one match is very, very long. It will happen really rare things in the match. Calm down and carry on and adapt to the situation. How we can practice that? Not making patterns fixed, making patterns chaotic. Adapt to the chaotic situations.
So how would you make a pattern chaotic? Because isn't the point of a pattern is sort of it's like a plan. It's like I'm gonna go cross two balls and then slice, or cross and then come into the net. I don't know, but how would you add variability into pattern play?
Sorry, I don't understand what you say. Sorry, my English is so bad. Sorry, try again, please.
Okay, I'd say a little slowly. How would you add variability into pattern play? Because for instance, let's say a pattern you could go one slice.
It's very simple. For example, in the surf, I can make one lap around myself that I have out of balance for serve before serve. Like this, I need to recover the balance out of balance. You say, but this one doesn't work because it never happened in the match in the serve. Yeah, happened that sometimes you don't throw properly the ball, happened that you are uncomfortable because of a very important time. When you readapt in situation, just make that, change your mind. You understand, can happen everything. In the volley, you can make a volley, with double hands, catching the racket with the left hand, your wrist, you play with the left, when you're a writer, the left hand catching the right. Like this, you cannot go far because don't allow to you this one. For that, you need to go move the legs, Then you play like this, but you learn how you can work with the legs. Or you can make double split step, double jump before play a shot. Like this, you understand the rhythm of the split step. You need to it's like a reset of the split step or the jump before the shot. There's so many things that you can do. And this match is the same. You can, for example, make one smash. You have problem for one guy that with the grips, that is difficult to take the forehand grip, for example. You can make like a circus, you throw the racket, you make one lap, catch the racket and play. Like this, you need to adapt to catch the racket very faster because you put in trouble your conditions and you need to readapt to the new situation. Then when you play without making the circus, the lap, I don't know in English, but the malabars, I think, I don't know, is the same, but without malabars, you can play easier because you make with malabars. Imagine without malabars. This is the idea, that complicate everything that you make. You can play with eyes closed. You can go, and when you throw the ball, close your eyes. When you close your eyes, you can touch the ball perfect. You are in position, and you feel more what you do because when you close one sense, the other one are more awake. The proprioceptive one, for example, and you start to feel more things. There are so many things that you can do.
So okay, yes, yeah, that's very, very interesting. So it's sort of like creating creating different situations in tennis within the realm of tennis, like just making tennis more complicated than it is in the actual match, I think. So
but can be tennis real normal. For example, you and me play a match, right? Yeah, I want to make it more crazy because it's a friendly match. You are not a lot of stress. I want to put more stress. I have one alarm that is sometimes sound. A one sound alarm, beep, this point is a game. You make one game, is only 1 point. Wow, so much stress. You understand? And you lose this. It's so unfair because only 1 point. You win, you are so happy. You change, we make variability in our mind, in the tactical work, because you need to readapt tactically at the situation of the time. We make matches that do make long game, normal, long game, short game, maybe 2 points. We can make so many things for change the rhythm, change, because like this, you need to change the tactics because it's different to play a long game than the short game. A mental, always the mental is there. For that, this kind of work help a lot. For then, when it's happened, things rear in the match, always happen rear in the match. Never, no sun, no wind, the opening nice, the referee don't make mistakes, the balls are perfect, the court never happened. For that, then you see the players that win today say, we win today, sure, because you are so tough. Yeah, normally the people have variability when it's windy, don't have so
Mm-hmm.
much problems. The people not is make crazy so easy.
So, Jofre, my next question is, how specifically do you implement creative visualization, and why do you feel creative visualization is important in improving tennis players?
You know, the mind, the mind work very similar when you make one shot or when you imagine one shot, right? Visualization is there are different levels of visualization, right? The first one, or the more far of the real shot, is a imaginary. I don't know in English. Imaginary action. You imagine that you play a shot. You don't make nothing, just imagine. You can make in bed. It's amazing because with Dani Jimeno Traver, that was the number 39 in the world, ATP. One day in bed, making visualizations, he get a crap. You can imagine how the muscular nerve muscular system work with only the imagine what you do, right? It's proof that when you imagine the shot that you will do when you are injured, you recover faster the movements that you need to do. So it's really efficient. We work in three ways. The first one is imagine the shot. You can imagine inside, and you can imagine from outside, like you feel or you see yourself like there are a camera around you on the road, you know. The second one is we tell the blind shot. Is when we make the shot like a shadow shot, but with eyes closed. When you close your eyes, you have a lot of more feelings because when you don't have your eyes, all your mind is get more attention. And the third one is make a shadow shot. You know, you make a shot, but without ball, without the chantage of the ball, because you can make free. You can imagine the ball where they are, and the fourth one will be the normal shot. You know, but this three is the visualization. What is is really efficient, really efficient. What is the problem? That you cannot control. If you play with your player and he's lazy and play late, you think I play late. Once he works with inside of his mind, you need to have confidence that he's working properly. Even when they make shadow shots, without concentration. No sense. We need to look in something with the visualization. One of the problems of our kids, it happens so many times that, for example, in the warm-up, they played without concentration. They put the ball in the other side. Every ball must deserve attention. Every ball deserves that you look in something. You know, it's not just play to the other side without concentration. We have time for being relaxed in the middle when we make a mistake, when we walk, or after practice when you go to the cinema. But when you play, you need to try to be concentrated in the maximum balls that you can be. And now, because the people work so long, is one of the problems that the work, or I believe that when the people work 6-7 hours per day, that we don't understand, because it's impossible to be concentrated so long. And if you are not concentrated alone, you make a lot of shots without concentration. And every shot that you make without concentration, I think doesn't help go against, no? For that is so important. And the visualization is the same, but the problem you cannot control. You don't know if if they make a real concentration or just make the thing for make the things, but they are not. For that is the problem. You need to explain them how important is the visualization, how important is the shadow shot, because it's not they make just for make. It's not right. But it's working even in the footwork, in the physical work. You can make visualization about the footwork or about the sprints, about be fast. A tactical situation is not just one of the things happen normally. The visualization, technical visualization, the mental coach make the technical visualization. I don't tell that he cannot, of course, but I want to do that because I know exactly what I want, about the technical better normally than the mental. For that, I want to make the visualization on court because I want to know like this, and it's fantastic. No, it's a work that we must use, but we need to be careful about that. That the guys must be involved in this kind of work.
Okay. And could you share and go into more detail as far as how you implement creative visualization in your sessions? I actually remember Pranav. He was injured, and you just had him to the side and just closing his eyes, imagining the shots. I actually use a lot of creative visualization with my own students. Like maybe before a match, 5 minutes, I would just say, take some time, breathe, imagine your strokes, imagine what you want to do tactically on court. But could you share, kind of how you use visualization in your
About
sessions?
poor visualization, imagine actions. Uh, we make a lot of time when a guy is injured about the shoulders, for example, he cannot play. We make visualization, even when he can play but cannot serve. When we make serve, he's behind the players and try to imagine the serve. We try to change what you cannot do for visualizations. Right? I cannot serve, I make visualization of serve. I cannot play, I make visualization of everything. We need to be careful because it cannot be too long, because it's too long, they are not concentrate and it doesn't work. But visualization help for that. Another way is, for example, in the warm-up, we want to warm up both sides. If you play against two players, when the player of the left side play backhand, the other one make a shallow shot in the backhand. And when we go to the forehand, make a shot, like a choreography. It's not just make a shot. It's like a choreography. The other one go in front, I go in front. When he go back or right or left, I need to move. I need to have the same rhythm of the partner. It's not just make one movement for make happy the coach, And the same time that we warm up both sides, we can build the perfect shot because they are not one ball that chantaged or put in trouble the situation. You can imagine the ball, and the ball make what you want. Then you have the real one that the ball make what the ball want. You need to readapt. But the visualization has disadvantage when you try to make the patterns that we speak before. You can make the pattern perfect because the ball is where you want.
Okay. The next question I'd like to ask you is, what is your views on tennis and education?
Well, it's good. I have one academy, or I don't know exactly what I have because it's so small that I don't know it's academy, but I don't think it's academy of tennis. It's education place. We use the tennis for educate the kids. We really believe in that. We think that we're education place and we use the tennis. But in the same times, we get good players. It means that we go full to try to get to tennis players because it's the way for teach the kids. But it's very, very important that understand that everything we make with the kids is education. Even when the people tell me, no, I teach tennis, but just for fun. Fun must be education. It's not just leave the guys. Even you give one ball in one tennis area, you go away and you give the rackets. It's education. Everything is education. You understand? But obviously, we can make more relaxed and not be concentrating that, or we can go more far. What we try to is be very efficient in the education. But obviously, the hundreds and hundreds players pass for global for the academies in the world. Only a little ones will be professionals. But if we make a good job, every single one will go home when he retired better person, better personal skills, mentals and physicals, that another person don't make this kind of work. For that, the responsibility of the coaches is the education. If the people don't accept the responsibility, I think he need to start to be coach, because coach and teachers and parents will have a very, very, very similar goals. If these goals, the principle is the education.
Mm-hmm. I was, my next question I was wondering is, so yeah, in the U.S. there's a lot of coaches that talk about, the Spanish system. It's sort of like 50% fitness, 50% tennis. And would you say that you agree with like this? Because it seems like in Spain it's sort of like they're training athletes, not tennis players, and I think a lot of other places they're more so training tennis players. So I was just wondering, what's your perspective on like fitness and tennis? Is what percentage would players be doing fitness drills, and what percentage would players be doing, just tennis drills?
Uh, when we play tennis, we don't play sit watching the TV. So we play moving. We run and we hit the ball, and very explosive, intense shots. They are a physical work. So one of the important things that we believe is the interaction in the physical, technical, and mental. is in the same place all the time. Even when they make physical work, if they make one specific footwork, they make technica in the same times. It's difficult to find the line where the technica and the physical is separating. Obviously, for example, more stupid story. You and me, we play 40 minutes forehand against forehand cross. We make resistance, it's intervallic, we make mistakes, the intensity is high, but not too much. And why you want to go to run and get more endurance will make this work on court? No sense. We believe that, for example, how we work is very intense and intervallic. The resistance, aerobic and anaerobic, no lactic, too bad, this one is different, but aerobic and anaerobic, we make on court. We make on court. Because we make this volume on court, the physical coach have more free time for make specific things like compensation, like prevention of injuries, like malabars, what is necessary. They have more time for make things that he thinks is important. You don't spend the big volumes that is the resistance, the endurance that is necessary in this one. For that, the more important for me is understand every player is different. Moya, for example, make longer the physical condition that the technical one. It's true that maybe you want to make coordination, you want to make sprints, speed. It's better to make before the practice. But this one sometimes is difficult because it's academy. You have the condition that you have. You have only one player in the middle of one club for you all the time. You can make things and maybe you can obey that. But in the same time, we need to be careful because too much perfect again doesn't help. Because finally, the coordination that you need on court will be not fresh and relaxed. We need to make, I don't tell that all the time, but we need to make some coordination and some speed a little tired because finally is what will happen on court. I don't need people, for example, that they are high level of endurance. I don't need that because finally in tennis, there are so much times of recuperation that is more important the capacity of recuperation than the capacity to make a long resistant process. It's a different type of work. For that, we believe a lot in the intervallic work. Tennis is intervallic, even when we practice. And then we believe that out of the court, when they make the physical or the tennis out of the work or the physical work, tell the name that you want, must be intervallic, a lot of them intervallic. But for that, the line of the physical work and the technical work is difficult where you put this line. Sometimes we're in the tennis court, but we're physical work, specific physical work. But in the mental is always there. The mental doesn't matter what you do, the mental is there. For that, for me, it's confused when the people will tell me that how the percentage of the physical and the tennis or why one or the other ones. I don't know, because obviously we make exercises in the warm-up, technical and very specific and precision. We look in precision, we work coordination. We cannot tell that we don't make physical work. We start working coordination. This is for me, it's not difficult. I think that people think too much sometimes.
Okay. At Global, one thing I have to say is that I've been around tennis. I played college tennis too. But it seems like at Global the drills were extremely intense. Even if you compare it to what they're doing at some Division I colleges, it was very, very, very intense stuff, especially for the students' age. I was wondering, how do you think that intensity helps students grow, both mentally and physically?
When you make drills, what is more similar to the tennis is rallies is more similar than drills. Why we need to make drills? Because with drills we can work specific things. We can make extremely defense. We can make attacks, repeat attacks that normally in the rallies don't happen all the time. So we can make more repetitions in one thing that we want to make extremely. But don't forget that rallies is more similar. We need to play more similar what happened later in the matches, much better. But drills help a lot for these kind of things. Obviously, if we want to make something for play forehand against forehand simple, I can make for change one technique or one grip or something like this. But in general, for make forehand forehand against forehand, I prefer to make a drill. Because the drill, we can make the same. There are a little variability. We need to adjust better the distance. You don't know exactly the distance. You need, with the hands, you want to change one grip or something different, that you want to change something is different. But for practice, I think it's better to drill. But when we want to look in, for example, extremely open defense, that you need to play open stance and the eyes in the ball and throw the racket without changing the head, etc., etc. This one is better to make in drills because it's difficult to reproduce in rallies. For that, we believe that the drills must be specific and hard. It cannot be easy shots, because for the easy shots we can make in rallies, we get more benefit. Does it get sense?
More or less. I actually had a very interesting perspective, because my two strongest mentors were actually you and then another coach in Delray in South Florida. I worked with him for quite a while, and I remember you talking about like how technique, you didn't necessarily, you were saying that tactics is more important than technique, but I was wondering if, like, so let's say a student had a technical flaw, how would you approach working with that technical flaw?
For me, the more difficult to work is the emotional regulation, and the tactical work is the more difficult, because it's intelligence. It's one skill, is very natural. Work is more difficult. Technica, finally, we will play the shots with the technica. I'm not stupid, but technica is, for me, it's very easy if the guy is brave. If the guy is not brave, it's impossible. But the guy is brave to change. All the players that are a little talented and they're brave, they're not scared to change, everybody learn a good technica, beautiful technica. For that, I think it's not so important, but not because it's not important, really important, because it's more easy to get the results in technica. Tactically, it's more difficult because tactically, they are emotional compromise. You need to be smart in so many things, and tactically, you can try the people understand the game, or you can make patterns, discipline patterns for make tactically correct. Obviously, both ways are good, because there are different players, different ways. But in the beginning, when they start, I think it's important, make very open the tactic, because like this, they learn to be more smart. After that, we can look in more patterns, more fixed, that when you go back, play there, play to the forehand like this, you can play with your forehand, or try to, you can look in different things. There are different tactical systems that you can put, but be careful to put too early tactical patterns. For one, we believe that there are two patterns. One pattern is for everybody the same. You cannot play down when you go back. No sense. But there are patterns that is specific for players. For example, you have a player that have a good forehand but a terrible backhand, a good service, Moya. What do you try to do? You need to play with the forehand of the opponent, because when you play to the forehand of the opponent, he need to play cross. If he play cross, come to my forehand. If he try to play down the line, cannot open big angle, I can play inside our forehand. Is what we do. This is a perfect for Moya. But we start with that in the beginning. We don't make that. Maybe he don't learn things that he can learn, because we make a fixed pattern. For that, we believe general patterns in the beginning, and we will put the specific pattern for every player later, no one did. But I don't want to say that is more. When I say it's more important, is because it's more difficult. If finally a lot of people work technica, if forget the tactic. What is tactic? Tactic is the decision you take in every time that you hit the ball. This is tennis. You understand? Tennis is the decision that you take. Decision is million times more difficult. Take good decisions that play with shots. For that, we give more importance to the tactic. We need to start the tactic, just start the play. We can make tactics with the hand, because normally when we start with the young players, the babies, all the exercises are cooperation. I pass you the ball, you pass me to the ball, I pass you the ball. In little years, I don't allow you make that. When I put one side, change side, don't repeat side, because they don't move. Why we cannot start, not all the time, obviously, but some moments make tactical, maybe just in the floor without bounce, directly to the floor. Maybe playing with the hand, but they need to think how make pain to the opponent, you know, put in trouble the opponent. In the beginning, like this, we wake up the necessity that I have so many players that come in older, I think 12, 13, 14, that play amazing technical, but tactically a disaster. So many, and they cannot be good tennis players.
Okay, so by tactics, you mean it's their decision making, it's their what they do, you know, in the so for instance, it's like in the situation, do I go cross? When do I go cross? When do I go down the line?
Exactly.
Should I
Or
hit a
long,
slice here?
you can play with 4 ways. The first one is the direction of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You can play cross down the line, more in the middle. Second one is the speed of the ball. You can play faster or softer. The third one is deeper. You can play near a drop or you can play long, you know. And the Spanish will have very clear that the high, no, you can play high balls or you can play down balls. The one I think is one of the advantages that works so much in clay and makes so much pain to the other countries, right? You have these 4. You need to combine this one. This is the pattern that you can use. Another thing is the strategy. The strategy is when I have the tactics, what I can do. I have the strategy. The strategy is what I can do because I play with you. That you have amazing forehand and you have a disaster backhand. I need to play in your backhand. This is strategy, it's not the tactics. We tell tactics to everything. And tactics is what you make in the moment. You know, I go, what I do with this ball. I have this ball. And normally this one is subconscious. You don't have time to think what you want to do. For that, when you play fantastic, the day that you play fantastic, you don't know exactly what you do. You just enjoy the moment because it's the flow, no? That when the subconscious make with the pattern that you make in your mind, he make one beautiful film that you feel free for flow, you know? This is the subconscious. The conscious need to think too much. When we speak, there one book is the new subconscious of Bark. One guy, I think it's from jail, but I'm not sure. That he say that the conscious part of the brain, the conscious part it was a computer, work 70 bytes per second. 70. The subconscious, 12 million. 70 to 12 million. And the people say, yeah, but in the subconscious, you need to breathe, the hair, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I give you 11 millions for that, right? 11. You have 70 against 1 million. Obviously, the fast computer work better. For that, the people try to think too much. How many times me, like a coach, I tell my players, think when I want to say, be concentrate. You know, when you play, you must be concentrated, not think. You need to think when you don't play. When you stop, say, maybe I need to play longer, or maybe why I repeat so much times. You know, is when you think. But when you play, just be concentrated, flow. Don't try to think because you don't have time for that.
You know, I'm not sure if this is exactly related, but one thing a mentor of mine told me is that a teacher's job is to teach a student that what he already knows. So it seems like what you're saying is the top priority of a coach is to help them tap into their subconscious and be, you know, be more have a deeper connection with their subconscious. Am I understanding correctly?
No, I don't. Sorry, I don't follow you. Try again, please.
It seems like what you mean by tactics, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I want to clarify. You're saying a coach's top priority is not necessarily okay. I'm going to teach strokes. Maybe this is a priority, but not the main priority. It's how can a coach help a player tap into their subconscious?
But really, I have an American girl here now. I don't tell names, but I looking a coach for the footwork. I was in shock. So, you understand? For me, it's difficult to understand. I want a coach for the mental work. You know, obviously there are people more ready but for the technical things. I think everyone need to learn everything. How you can understand the footwork. The last step of the footwork is the first step of the shot. You know, because you stop. The shot is not different. It's there. for that, I don't understand when the people say, no, I'm a specific of another thing is a physical coach, but the technical coach need to know about everything, more or less, but need to know about everything. It's not specific on one thing or the other thing, you know. If you are not good in footwork, work in the footwork because you need to make everything together, you know. In the tactical happen the same. So I think there are different ways for work with the guys tactically intelligent. You know, for example, when you have a young player, don't tell him never how he must play. Ask him how he will play. One example is a very young. I put a very young, simple one. Say, you play with who? Say, it's what happened exactly that with a young girl, maybe 9 years old. He's playing with a girl that 10 years old, tall and tough and very strong physically. Say, what is your opponent? He tell me the name. Say, what you will do. Say, I don't know. Say, you need to have a plan for play. What she play? She tell me, he have a good first serve, but the second one is a disaster. He says, okay. He says, what can do with that? I can try to be concentrated in the first serve, and the second one, maybe I can go more inside and try to play longer, because like this, she cannot attack me with the strong forehand that he has. It's fantastic, because he has good forehand, yeah. He said, it will speak like this. He start to think the tactics or the strategy that he will use in the match. And in the end, he tell me, because she has better forehand than backhand, I try to play all the time to the backhand. Then I can go there, I try to help her. Say, no, maybe it's not a good idea, because you play in the backhand. She will play with inside-out forehand. If finally you play only with a short space, a small space in the court, and she will play with all court. Maybe it's better to play to the forehand for give space to the backhand. Right. But before she think, and after that, I introduce one new concept. I think it's the way. Don't tell no, because this one is hard. No. Allow to the guy to think. Allow to the guy. For that one, the people say that so many coaches that this match I win this match because I tell her maybe you are a good coach, but you are not a good teacher. You know, because finally we speak a lot. No, I don't tell that my coaches don't speak, but they speak for teach, not for win matches. You understand? Our work is teach, is not win matches. Sometimes we put the result, we give too much importance, we forget that we work a long term. The matches finally is a short term.
I see. That's very, very interesting, and how you described it, I can definitely understand. And you know, I think specifically asking players, you know, what they think about the situation tactically. I think this can get them thinking, and then you know, because they need to learn how to be independent problem solvers, and that's what it's all about. So we have you got about 10 more minutes. I want to wrap up with this question, and I mean, you did mention stoicism, but I would, you know, tennis is such a mental game, and I would like to know your views on how tennis players can master the mental side of tennis and master the mental side of even themselves, and how should students approach inner and spiritual development?
So, life is mental, you know. I think one of the biggest problem is know our mental intelligence, different intelligence. They are different intelligence that the people manage more or less good. But the problem is the mental, is the emotional regulation. You know, it's really, really difficult. Be stable, because you are not stable emotionally. You cannot be smart. For be smart, for take good decisions, you need to be in serenity. I listen so many times. I know that a little nervous. I'm not ready for play a match. No confused. When you play a good match, you are a little nervous because everybody's a little nervous, but it's not what you make better. The serenity is the best situation for playing a match. You know, the people confuse physical and mental because they go to a lot of together, you know, that I'm tired. It's mental or it's physical, you know, it's works really, really together, but mental is always there. For that, without obsessions, and making one step back and watching what real happened. Because sometimes some father tell me, father was a father, but can be some others, doesn't matter. He have a mental problem. Say, no, the problem is not good enough, you know. But you looking always one excuse for all the story is be nice in your mind, but sometimes it's not like this. It's easy to lie yourself unconsciously for justified why your child or your player is not good enough. Sometimes it's not good enough. That's all. Not always is mental, But at the same time, we need to really care about the mental work. I was in Hong Kong, and there one mental coach, one psychologist, and he make a sentence in the beginning, a Chinese guy, and he say, you need to kill the dragon. Kill him when he's young, because when he's older, it's really, really difficult. I think one of the important things is that a lot of time, because they must be happy, we don't care about the mental process of the kids. And then when they are teenagers, it's so difficult to change all this situation. It's better to play a little, not obsess, but a little, all the time, get situations. For example, lose matches when you are young is easier than accept that you can lose matches. You protect the not play matches because like this you don't lose. When you arrive to the teenager, you are so frustrated because you lose, because you never lose a match. So this kind of thing we can make very, very young. And we need to work in that. I think that is the mental, we need to start, mental education is go together. One guy, the education is good when he's young, the mental work will be so easy. One guy that is confused when he's young and don't understand how many times you see one father allowed to win the child that this is happy. It's very confused. I win my father, but I lose with my friends. It's not nice. My father is very bad or what wrong? It's because why you make that? Don't confuse. You need to win your child because you are better than him. He needs to understand he's not so good like you. Don't make a stupid thing for make him happy that then you need to pay a price for that. Don't build one room with TV, internet, iPad, TikTok, PlayStation, and then be angry because the guy don't go out of the room because you make the bunker. We need to be smart when we try to teach the guys, and we are smart because the technology will be a problem because we don't understand how to use that. We need to be careful that don't make so happy your child and make your child happy for the future. Build yourself for me happy in the future, not now. Sorry for my English. I know that it's terrible how I speak.
Interesting. And this is a little segue. One thing, at Global, you made the kids separate from their phones, like during most of the day. Could you go into a little bit more like why you do that and how that works out with mental health of
For
the
me,
children?
for me, it's very simple. Is addictions are terrible for the mind. Addictions are terrible for the mind, but even the good addiction. I think one guy that read 2 books every day is not good. Addiction is not good. Anyone, even when you make something nice, but the addictions is in the technology, in the TikToks and rubbish. I tell TikToks like everything that is addicted for fun, it's worse. But it's not me. See, in Silicon Valley, the schools, they don't have screens, they have blackboards. They make all the things that we buy, they design the things that we buy because they want us addicted. And the babysitters is not allowed to have a phone at home, they need to sign a paper for that because they know how dangerous the sons of the Microsoft guy and the Apple guy don't play with phones. Don't play till they are very old because they know how addictive is that. They make it for that. The Facebook guy tell that. I make that for get addicted. Addict people. It's like this because they work with the dopamine. They learn, get spaces without technology because like this, they found different ways for full the space the time they are boring because they don't have technology. You cannot imagine. In the beginning, it was the guys don't make nothing, but a little start to play chess, they start to read books, they speak a lot. I try to increase this kind of thing with some speech. Why you don't think and make that? Why you don't make a group of books? Everybody read the same book and you can a club of a book or something like this. And we try to increase this one about music. So no, I listen music in my phone. They say, you don't listen music. Put a headphones and and music all the time in your mind is not listen music. Music is sit in silence and close your eyes and feel the music. It's not just the one music in the car. You know, these kind of things, you know, that start to live not depending of the technology. Will be so difficult. It's a battle that I think we will lose, but we need to fight because it's too much important.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I think we should go ahead and wrap this interview up now. Um, I was just wondering do you have any closing thoughts or things you'd like to say to anybody watching out there?
I only want to say one thing. Believe me that uh, if you are a coach, you're a coach. You need to understand you have a big responsibility because big part of the education of the kids depend on us. You cannot be relaxed. You cannot be not honest. The people is not honest can go to the hotel to go a particular class to the tourist because they cannot make pain. But you take care of child, take care of child. Don't, it's not fun, only fun, it doesn't work. You are a player, you are a player. You need to understand you are a 10 player that you are information, you are the young, you need to learn a lot of things. You need to understand the responsibility of your tennis life, your life in general, it's you. It's not your parents, it's not your coach, it's not your teachers. The parents, the coaches, and the teachers will pass you the best information that they have, but the responsibility is yours. Without you, doesn't work, doesn't matter how good is the information that you're set out of you. For that, start to understand it's me. Don't look an outside of you, don't look at excuses because it's you. I think it's a good message in the end.
Yeah, I just agree. Tennis is an individual sport, so I think nothing more teaches you that it's on you that you need to improve, that you need to look at the man in the mirror than tennis. So, um, well, yeah, I mean, so I think we should go ahead and wrap it up here. I think this interview was incredible, and you shared a lot of amazing insights. This has been Bryceton LeFlore with another tennis improvement video with legendary coach and inspirational figure, Jofre Porta. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, great luck out there on the tennis court. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Legendary because I'm very old. When you are young, you cannot be legendary, right? Thank you for your love more than for your reasons. Thank you so much. See
Thank
you
you.
soon, guys.